Hi, my name's Luke D. Joyce, and this is the director's commentary for There's Something About Sally, Episode 1, Meat and Veg, directed by myself, Luke Joyce. Now, the first thing to know about when I produced and directed this episode was that all of the audio heard throughout the episode is actually the secondary audio taken on board the camera. We originally intended to film the entire thing with primary audio being taken into a H4 recorder. However, during the editing process, this audio was lost, which led to music being used a lot more throughout the episode, as you can see, to cover up the fact that the audio quality was not as good as what we'd originally intended. And this is the big reveal of the episode when you first really understand what's going on. Now, going into this scene, you can really see, or really hear rather, the lack of quality in the audio. If I had the time, I would definitely go back and reshoot the episode in order to give it better audio. Although, as it goes visually, I'm quite happy with the way it's turned out. There are some lighting errors, as you can see throughout this scene particularly, which came simply from the angles of the cameras because of the patio doors behind them. All of this scene was filmed within the same sort of half an hour period, and just because of that day, lighting was going in and out the entire day, which meant in between camera angles the lighting does change. Unfortunately, during the editing process, I didn't have the time or resources to properly colour correct the episode, which is why the colour and light doesn't match up. Now, this is an important scene because it really emphasises Sally's plight, and you really get to understand the intent of the story from this scene. We filmed it using 5 different camera angles, and we ran through the scene 5 times, or more than 5 times with outtakes. Going into this scene, we filmed each shot one at a time, so instead of going through the scene multiple times for each camera angle, we just shot what we needed. This scene was originally intended to have cutaways while Sally is typing on her little laptop of exactly what she's typing to. She would be Googling things like magic and gender reversal and swapping overnight, things like that. But there would be emphasis on the amount of results she's getting, which is why she gets more and more infuriated as there's more and more results. It was our intention from the start to give Sally a love interest throughout the story, even though it plays much more into it in episode 2. However, I really do like this line that she says after reading the text from the love interest Josh. It's melodramatic and it's over the top, but I think it really emphasises her character. We used a lot of close-up shots like that one of the phone throughout the film, or at least I did, directing the cinematography, because that was the style I really wanted to emphasise. It's used a lot in horror movies, and in a sense, I quite like this as being a kind of a parody of horror movies or thrillers, even though it's intentionally meant to be a comedy, as you can see from this scene that's playing at the moment, that was made purely for comedy. But in horror and thriller movies, they use a lot of close-up camera angles that I really try to represent and do myself. A director that especially uses this is Edgar Wright in his films, who again are comedy, but draw a lot from horror and thriller genres. The choice of music in this scene was a very last-minute choice on my part while editing, although I think it suits the scene very well, and I'm very happy for it. I'm glad that it works. If I could go back and reshoot this scene, I believe that I would try some more interesting and funny camera angles, as well as getting the better audio, and I would also try and shoot it intending to cut it to this exact piece of music so it could really suit the timing of the music. Overall, all of the audience members that have seen this film have been rather happy with the result. The creativity in the story and the interest in the camera angles and direction of it has covered up the poor audio quality. Now, from the start, from when I was first writing this scene, I always intended to edit it together with the song, um, "This Town Ain't Big Enough for the Both of Us" by Sparks, as a homage to the Cape montage scene in the movie Kick-Ass. However, even though I'd planned it from the start, I didn't particularly shoot or even really edit the scene to match the music due to time restraints on the production and post-production of the episode. I would like to go back and reshoot this scene to be a lot snappier, a lot faster between cuts, showing off a much wider range of clothing in a much shorter space of time. Shots like this go on far too long, and if I could go back, I'd redo them. I would also specifically redo them to suit the music, so that it was a lot choppier and a lot faster pace, and sped up when the music speeds up and becomes more intense. I really like this shot here, and I wish I'd used it more. Just the action and movement in the scene really works. The kind of slightly to the side, across the bed shot of Sally while she's getting the clothes. Instead, I majorly went for shots directly in front of the camera that was in the place of the wardrobe, of Sally standing up trying on different clothes. At the time, I thought this was a good idea, but looking back on it, I wish I had incorporated some more interesting shots. Again, going to these close-ups that were specifically a homage and references to horror movies, and very much that style of filmmaking. Now, this shot was an interesting one for me because I really wanted it to represent how Sally was slightly coming out of her shell and accepting the idea that she was now a boy. I wouldn't say that much of the episode was very metaphorical or held a lot of themes and ideals, but definitely this scene in particular, I really wanted to give across the idea that someone could become okay with their body regardless of what body it was, and even in a short space of time. Which is why the episode ends with her leaving the house to find the outside world. My name is Luke Joyce. This has been the director's commentary for episode 1 of There's Something About Sally. Thanks for watching.